I think it was a really rich day, and I learned a lot. I was trying to make notes of all the things.
I've got lots of notes.
Oh my goodness, I have so many notes. Well, how about if we talked about just a few themes, if you don't mind?
Yeah. Well, I mean, one of the themes that I thought came up again and again and again is it started with Bernie's highlighting of the word inclusion and identifying that inclusion is a sustainability issue. If we are not all stakeholders in this, if we allow the gap between the haves and the have-nots to continue to run away, that's not sustainable, because then you have revolution. And China is one of the places that knows this best, and other places will know this some more. But what does it mean to include people? And I think that led me on to, he was talking about, okay, so there was a question, what was the question? The question from Michele Acuto about, do we need two Watsons? Do we need
to argue
to argue with each other?
Yeah.
And now AI is now my understanding of AI or computation in general is that it's deterministic. So arguably, with the same question and the same data, you should have the same answer. So what would be the point of having two Watsons? And it occurred to me that actually it's the wrong framing of the whole problem. It's actually, and then it occurred to me, what matters is the questions. It's not the answers. You get different answers to different questions. So the framing of the questions is the thing that gives you the different answers, using the same data, using the same machinery. So then where do we get the questions was, we brought back to the idea of inclusion. We get the questions from the communities that are affected by the technologies and the science and the policies and the businesses and the commerce and the solutions that we're finding today. And so including those stakeholders, I think, is how we get the right questions, which is how we develop the right technology, which is how we develop the right science and all the right policies. And so that's for me, I think inclusion was the thing that resonated more and more.
I love that resonance. I also was really struck by the tension over the entire day between, so where questions come from is knowledge, is you have to know a little something to be even able to ask the next question. On this sort of the drive of using data, both to understand how society is working now, to predict maybe when something might go wrong and how we might adapt to it, but never in the midst of all that to forget the human well-being, to forget that we need our connections
That's the whole
to
point.
the environment and to nature, and I thought that was really wonderful. It was, I can't remember who said it at this minute, but somebody said if you really want things to work, you know, that inclusion that you're talking about, it has to involve science, community, and policy, and I would add business as well to that, to really get the whole view on that between the inclusive views and you know, and the data that we have that we're increasingly empowered by. I think we can help find some solutions. And the last thing I want to say, which was something that Sasha said earlier in the day, which is sometimes you just have to talk with one another and just start doing things together. And for me, that was really a key message of the day.
That actually resonated with me. I mean, the exact phrase was, "Talk to me, show me."
Yeah, I like that too.
And
Yeah.
I think I would add to that is that's in contrast to the talk at me. And I think one of the things that has led to the backlash against, for want of a better word, the liberal elite, i.e. people like me, and you, I didn't want to talk to you. One of the things is that I think the communities, there's a lack, or there's been a loss of cultural ownership by the people who are voting for these populist movements. They're trying to get their culture back because they have been talked at for the last 30 years. The liberals, we won. And so we now have the tools to talk at them, and there's the backlash. What we need to learn is how to talk to them, how to include them, and there's that word inclusion again, in the solutions, in the questions, in the culture. Once they feel included, they will feel that they are stakeholders. That doesn't mean that we have to say, okay, what are your answers? Let's close the borders. It means let's talk about why do you want to close the borders? How do you think that building walls is going to build your life? And then we can, rather than saying, no, you're just wrong, if we include them in the conversation, that's where sustainability, not just scientific, economic, environmental, but cultural sustainability can be born.
I couldn't agree more, and I think maybe it's our turn to stop talking at them, and I hope you all will join us. We're going to be in Ballroom A, which is just down the hall here on the same floor, next door for reception. And I would love to hear more about. I know personally would love to hear more about your ideas for how we can do things better, or how we can improve in the future our abilities to help you do what you're trying to do. And thank you again so much for joining us at our first Science in the Sustainable City event by Springer Nature. We're very grateful to the World Cities Summit people and also
to Tencent. Again, we thank them for their sponsorship, for helping us to create what I think has been, I really feel this has been a really worthwhile and a successful event. So thanks to them, and thank you to you all for showing up.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good afternoon.